Hi, welcome to Resilient Sportswear channel. We are committed to empowering you to move and build resilience. One of the many ways that we do this is by promoting the 5 pillars of resilience. This month, we would like to focus on self-care. Self-care is a necessity because you and your needs are important. We would like to encourage you to prioritize self-care because in doing so, you are empowered to do more for yourself and for your loved one. During this event, our advocates and community will be sharing self-care tips, including how to develop self-care habits. Together, we can do more. We are giving away prizes if you join our self-care challenge. For additional information, visit resiliencesportswear.com and follow us on Instagram, Resilience Sportswear. Hey, and do not forget to hit subscribe.
Hello everyone, my name is Andrea Fleming.
I'm Farah Afnan.
And I'm Theresa Horne.
We are with you today to talk about the importance of self-care. For me, self-care is very important. If I don't take care of myself, then everyone around me goes down with me. So I have to make sure that I have a self-care routine that I go through every single day. And Theresa and Farah also can relate to me, I think. So I'll just have them explain a little bit about why self-care is important to them.
My self-care the past few months has gone like way downhill. And it's important to me because I think about it. I was thinking about it all the time, like, I need to get back into self-care. I need to take care of myself. You know, little things like reading a book for pleasure. What's that like? And then this came about, which really was the perfect timing because I literally haven't really done much for myself lately the past few months. So here we are.
I know, so for myself, when COVID hit, my business, I took it online and I continued to teach classes on a regular basis. So one of my main habits stayed in place. And for me, like, everything is built around my habits. So my core habit of getting up and, working out stayed in place. So all the habits that I had built around self-care, also were able to stay in place. The big change that I felt was everybody else's energy. Not everybody, but so many people I felt like did have that, and I felt that pull. So I had to adjust my self-care because I was being pulled on in a different way. So for me, I was like, why am I feeling like all my habits are the same? I felt like, everything I usually do is still working. Why do I feel this different? And that was a change for me because I had always struggled to make sure I had my self-care together. So just like you said, everybody else is so dependent on me. So for when I felt the big pull from other people, I was just like, oh, what is that about? And so I think it's one good thing is to really understand that just because we have a self-care routine, we still have to go back and look at, is this enough? Am I, check in on it. So that's one big lesson that I've learned recently.
I completely agree with you. I think that's so important. Actually, I think COVID had everybody reassess their routines and how they take care of themselves.
Mine was really challenged with so many people. I have a 9-year-old daughter. And so last spring when the school districts weren't as organized because, it was a big change for them too. I was the teacher and the homework person and working, and it was just really overwhelming. I was like, I have no time in my day. It's gone. But now things are back to, they're not back to normal, but the schools, everything's the routine is really good. I'm not the teacher anymore. We just have a really nice pattern. We have time to play sushi, do arts and crafts because we're not so keeping our heads above water. And so that's definitely was my downfall, as I know pretty much all of my parent friends, everyone.
Yeah, so I think this is a good time for us to explain a little bit about the self-care challenge that we're introducing, because I think a lot of people can relate to this whole, like, everybody got turned on their head, and so many of the people that I know and a lot of my friends, they completely fell out of a routine. And so Farah and Theresa and I are partnering with this amazing company called Resilient Sportswear. And we're doing a self-care challenge to help people get back into that. So Theresa, do you want to explain a little bit about it?
We're going to be talking about 3 things that we feel are really important, and then we'll just really support everybody in habit building. Just what I talked about is the way I form my habits and how we are our habits. What happens? That's what happens. Whether we are intentional with our habits or unintentional, that ends up being how we present to the world. It's our habits, what we continually do. So we're going to just support people in building habits, healthy habits, and self-care is the focus for the next 30 days.
We'll be doing 3 more videos, very short, to give you an insight onto how we build up our self-care habits and self-care routines. And each of us has 3 areas where we're very knowledgeable. So Farah talks a lot about meditation, that's her specialty. And I do a lot of thought work that helps me get myself taken care of. And Theresa does a lot of habit building. So we're just gonna lead you through a little bit on that and see if that can help you. And then we'll introduce all of the rules and the challenge rewards.
I teach meditation, and I like a little bit about that is we have between 50 and 80,000 thoughts per day. That's a lot of thinking. And science has actually proven that a majority of those thoughts are negative. They are judgments towards ourselves and towards others. And so when we meditate, whether you're meditating for 16 seconds, and I'll get to that in 1 second, or you're meditating for 20 minutes or an hour, it's a pattern interrupt. And so if we think of thoughts like just like bubbles in a champagne flute or sparkling water glass, that they come and they go, we don't own them, they don't really belong to us, they come and then they go. And so when we meditate, like literally, again, if it's 16 seconds or it's 10 minutes, what have you, it grounds us, it gives us clarity, it helps us focus. And so sometimes, like, there are days where, well, number one, I'm not someone who meditates for like an hour in silence. Like, I just don't. I probably do about 10 to 20 minutes, and sometimes I just do 16 seconds. But how it centers us and it calms our central nervous system down. It takes us out of fight or flight. We go into fight or flight, well, pre-COVID at least, between 8 to 12 times a day, which, as you ladies know, that it affects our cortisol levels, gives us adrenal fatigue. And fight or flight was really made for when we were fighting off saber-toothed tigers. We would hunt, we would gather, and now it's like routine for us, where it's a habit. It's a habit, Theresa, where we, whether you're frustrated, you're in line at the bank, or, someone's irritating you, you go into fight or flight. And so meditation helps us calm down and get centered and gives us clarity. And so if it's okay, I'm just going to lead you guys in a 16-second meditation that my mentor, David G., created. And it was actually implemented with like the military and lots of people. They called it, I think, tactical breathing. And it's 16 seconds. You can do it with your eyes open or your eyes closed. It's up to you. And so we will just start. And we're going to inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath at the top for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold the breath out for 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's 16 seconds.
So awesome.
It's so awesome. I mean, it was just 16 seconds, but it was so good.
It's 16 seconds, and a really good time to do it is, whenever you want. It's 16 seconds, but at the end of the day, like when you're shifting from work life to family life, it just kind of, it helps you just shift your energy from the go of, work to, okay, I'm with my family or my friends or myself, and just it's me time now.
Yeah, I love that. What I love about it is that it's so short. I think people think meditation and they think they have to sit there for like an hour and pretend like they're not thinking. And it's intimidating for some people.
It is. And, I'm not Buddha. I'm not going to meditate for 2 hours in silence. Like, I just haven't. But doing 16 seconds or even like 10 minutes, whether it's, a guided meditation with visualizations or affirmations, a mantra, or just focusing on your breath, the purpose of all of those is literally to create a pattern interrupt. Theresa, this kind of pertains to you because the habit of like thinking, we overthink how it can be a bad habit if we're having all of these negative thoughts. And when you just find space between the thoughts, whether it's like really just 16 seconds or 1 second, that space is authentically who we are. We are the space between our thoughts. We are peace, we are joy, we are love, and that's who we are.
Usually I'll do my meditation and that will get me in a clear space so that I can do thought work on whatever habits that I'm working on for the week or for the day. So I know a lot of people, they will have their habits planned out. And then when they get to the habit, they're like, I don't want to do that. And then they don't do it. I do that all the time where I'm like, I don't want to do this right now, even though I know in my future self would have loved if I would do it. But so I try to offset that by doing thought work on it ahead of time. So, there's no right way to do thought work. Some people journal and that's perfectly fine. And they just do a free form journal of like getting everything that they feel and think about what they're working on out so that they can see it. For me, I like a little more structure. So I will actually go through and find all of the thoughts that I have about habits that I'm trying to work on. And what it does for me is it brings awareness to what's going on around the situation. So if I'm working on, let's just keep it in the realm of self-care. If I'm working on making sure that I get time for myself to work out, like I'm a fitness person, but I don't always want to work out. And I think people are surprised when I say that. So I will figure out exactly why. Is it because I think that the workout's going to be too hard, or I think that I'm bored with the workout, and I just really figure out what it is and what I'm making that mean for me that I'm about to work out. And I figure out all of the feelings that are attached to those thoughts. And then what I'll do is I'll slowly progress myself into thoughts that are more positive and that get me more motivated to work out. So instead of thinking, oh my gosh, this workout is going to be so hard and painful, I'll think, oh, this progression is perfect to get me to this cool trick that I want to do. And it doesn't take away from the fact that I think it's hard, so I'm not like fooling myself, because I know a lot of people, they'll be like, well, I just don't believe that thought, so it's not going to work for me. Like, it's fine. It can be hard, but I'm also coming at it from a different approach of like, it may be hard, but for me, it's worthwhile because I know that it's going to get me to where I want to be. And I think that's an important step for habit building. Is at the very beginning, a lot of my clients will be so stoked about their end goal that they'll do anything, but as they're going, that motivation kind of wears off because they forget why they're doing it. So the thought work brings me back to my why all the time and helps to clear out the negative space and the negative energy from the activity that I'm trying to do.
So it's funny how all of these things are kind of building each other. When I was, one of the things when we look at habits, when I have my clients look at habits, that, you get clear on your goal. And a lot of times that means like journaling, kind of doing a brain dump and just getting all of it out. So we want to tell ourselves the truth about it. So I think so many times we're like, oh, working out is great and I'm going to love it. And, and the truth is sometimes you're not going to love it. You're not going to love it all the time. So just to get really clear on your goals, because there'll be times when you wake up and you're like, I don't want to get out of bed, or I don't want to do that. So when we get really clear on it, so we know what we're really going after, and then have a plan of action. You have a plan, I'm going to work out, well, then you get to the gym or you go to your basement and you don't know what you're going to do. What's the plan? So whenever you're building a habit, you want to be clear on what it is and what the plan is to execute it. It might be you're building the habit of eating healthy, right? So, okay, that's pretty big. What does that look like for you? Eating healthy for you means what? Does it mean no more chocolate chip cookies? Or does it mean adding in more green vegetables, right? So what is the goal that we're going after, to get really clear on that? And then how are you going to walk it out? What's going to be your check mark? And speaking of check marks, I find that it's nice to have something where I actually can check it off or see the progress, whether it's, like old school on a calendar that you get from the store and you just check the box, or if it's electronic and you track it on your phone and, you get a tracking reward in that way, something where you can actually see your progress, because there's nothing better than having a streak of check marks, or you've got this running streak of going, because you don't want to break it. That's brilliant, by the way. It's really helpful.
It seems so simple, yet it's so genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I would suggest, and also to know who's on your team to support you, right? Because I think whenever we're building positive things in our lives, as soon as you say, I'm going to eat healthy, then it feels like all the unhealthy commercials and everything is going to be, because you put that out there. So who's on your team to support you? So when you have the naysayers, or you have the, cookie sellers knocking at your door, or whatever is going to come, that you have support, that okay, you know what? I can go ask Farah, say, Farah, I really want chocolate chip cookies. And, that's not the habit I'm trying to build. And, you can have support, or if it's online, or it's making sure that you go to your favorite IG, Instagram people to give you good support, so that you know where you can go for support when you're feeling like about your habits. You can get some support with those.
I think we all most of us get into that mode where we're like waiting for other people to tell us it's okay to do it.
Yeah.
I've definitely caught myself doing that before, where I'm like, is it all right if I take a nap today? I seriously debate with myself if I can take a nap during the day. It's wild.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to, we're giving you guys permission to take care of yourselves. And I'm doing this challenge also. I'm going to pick something that I want to work on for my self-care. We are so excited to do this, and we're going to have so much support available. On the 15th is when we're going to launch this self-care challenge. And what we determined is that self-care looks different for everybody. So we are just allowing you to pick any habit that you want to work on for yourself. That could be like a nap during the day every day, or working out, or making sure that I get my meditation in every morning. And the way that I look at building self-care habits is just like we discussed, is like making sure you're clearing space for yourself to be able to do that, whether that be by meditation or deep breathing, and then working on your thoughts and your perspectives around it to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. And then being very strategic, like Theresa talked about, and making sure that you're actually being clear about your goal and what you're trying to accomplish, and making sure you have your support system available to you. We're gonna have a link available to you to be able to log in your success, and we'll be announcing some prizes for those who are staying on board with their self-care habits. And we'll have all the rules and information about that to you pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And
That'd be good.
I'm so happy that we have all partnered with Resilience and with Grace, who we all love, and just knowing her story about resilience and, you know, needing to jump into the self-care challenge again like everybody else. It's inspiring to know that we have community and that we have each other, and this will be fun, and I can't wait for this checklist.
Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and see you next time.